Good afternoon, future generations. Dr. Stanton Hom giving you a message from almost to the top of Mount Kineo here off of Moosehead Lake in Maine. We're visiting some family up in Greenville. I'm going to give you a little bit of a view. It's freaking breathtaking. Sorry I'm not coming to you live today. I think we're just in the sticks a little bit. And so I'm going to post this video most likely, generally, because I just wanted to show you this landscape. It's just absolutely breathtaking. We just got a little bit of rain, kind of like yesterday, which is kind of fun. But today's question is, I actually have a little bit of a paper here, so it's not quite as formal as last time. What is good movement or stretches to do in the evening before bed? Another one of our patients asked us this question. This is super important, and it's super important because how you begin your day is super important. Tomorrow we're going to go through my morning routine, or just the fact that having a morning routine is really, really important. And today is kind of like the bedtime routine or the evening routine. And so how you end your day literally determines the quality of your sleep that you have, right? And so if I could remember back even to a few years ago, you know, I would literally fall asleep on the couch and, you know, watching TV or something and wake up and the TV's going, you know, kind of go up to sleep and just kind of pass out whenever that was and wake up and, you know, try to wake up early or something like that and kind of groggy in the morning. And the point is the quality and quantity of your sleep is, the importance is immeasurable, right? The lesson in all of this is that regeneration occurs at night. And all day, you know, we literally, the way that our circadian rhythms work is that our stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, that kind of stuff, our adrenals, sympathetic nervous system, activate basically upon sunlight in the morning or so. And then upon nightfall, the opposite occurs, where melatonin starts to increase, stress hormones go down, and it's literally that time to actually bed down, right? And so back in nature, literally I say literally a lot, in about 4 or 5 hours, this entire area, well, maybe not down here, there's a golf course down here, but this entire area is virtually just freaking woods, nature, and forest. The invention of the light bulb was the kind of classical way that we were able to manipulate the day, right? So how humans are able to kind of change the way that we were naturally, like, basically designed, right? And so we're supposed to be in nature, and we're supposed to be kind of in the environment a lot. And regeneration, and the whole reason why we have nighttime is when it gets dark, a whole host of physiological activities actually wake up, right? It's really funny to think about that in the daytime, you know, we think things turn on, and nighttime they turn off. And yeah, that's a portion of that is true. But in the nervous system, inhibitory neurons actually need to activate in order to shut down some of those systems, right? And so there is activity in inactivity, which is really a weird concept to think about. And so the nighttime routine is super, super important, because when you actually take account for how well you go to sleep, your life can change. The quality of your sleep literally regenerates your body, and the next, like literally the next day, you build like the bank account for the energy and the reserves and everything that you have to actually thrive in the next day, right? So people who don't get a good night's sleep think that they're just going to make it up the next night, but in reality, you're just always playing catch up, right? And so how to apply this? There's things not to do at night, and I would say I have a rule of thumb in my life, basically 30 minutes to an hour of no screens, whether it's TV or phones or even Wi-Fi in general. I just don't do in the evening, because it activates your brain. Just having a screen in front of you from a scrolling perspective activates dopamine and kind of those addictive pathways. Number one reason why kids cry in the office? Well, probably like babies and digestion and things like that, nursing, et cetera, breastfeeding issues. I'd say the number one, the very next reason would be phones. And it's because the addictive nature to phones, we don't even have an account for what that is going to be, right? The next aspect is things to consider. Turning off your Wi-Fi at night, blackout shades, and maybe even doing your best to create a cave-like atmosphere. I have some mentors who are so crazy about this. They only do candles at night. And candles at night, the reason is the wavelength of the light, the red light wavelength, mimics the flame, which is actually a flame, but that type of light at night actually kind of regenerates and starts the process of booting down your system and helps you actually have a better night's sleep, whereas the blue light from phones or screens keeps your mitochondria and a lot of those different energy systems activated and basically keep your system on, right? And so from an exercise perspective, I haven't talked about this yet. Number one thing, because you can do it at any moment, doing anything, breath work, right? And I don't like to overthink this too much. If you've taken any yoga class, the ujjayi breath is super, super important. The closing off of the airway in the back of your throat is actually very stimulatory to two cranial nerves, probably more, but two cranial nerves, cranial nerve 9, cranial nerve 10. 9 and 10, glossopharyngeal nerve and the vagus nerve, both are stimulatory to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically your rest, digest, relaxation, regeneration system, right? Every time you get adjusted, a big part of the reason why it's helpful is it shuts down that sympathetic fight or flight system and ramps up your parasympathetic system, right? So breath work, super important. In my world, at least 3 minutes. At least 3 minutes of what I like to call the 4-second breath, where you breathe in, hold for 4 seconds, exhale, and hold out for 4 seconds. You do 3 minutes of that. You can do more, obviously. You can do more. You can do it with meditation. You can do it with all sorts of other beneficial activities, but I'd say that is primary, number one. Number two, at about 6 to 12 months into our care, we start bringing in what we call the Denerol. Denerol is it's almost like a neck orthotic device. There's other areas for the spine as well, but we primarily use the neck, generally because the cervical spine is a relationship to virtually every function in your body. It can't be overstated, and so I do it oftentimes laying on the Denerol. Super important, right? The last thing is choose one area of the spine to stretch. I love stretching the neck, generally because of that same reason as before, but oftentimes I will teach a series of stretches and exercises to do actually while laying in bed. And maybe I'll post a video. I think we're gonna have a cache of videos here pretty soon, which are some of the stretches that I do actually teach. But basically, I teach certain stretches along the lumbar spine and the glutes and the hamstrings, generally because you can do them while you're laying down. You can do them before you go to sleep, and you can do them before you get out of bed, because not only will you get a better, more comfortable sleep, but when you actually get out of bed, your body is a little bit more primed to be in gravity, right? And so gravity is the thing. People think gravity is a bad thing. I think gravity is the most amazing thing, in that it's how we actually know that we have a body, right? For gravity to push down on us and for our muscles to react to it, gives us ability to navigate the earth, right? That said, if you have subluxation patterns, misalignments, areas that are stuck or areas that are not moving well, then your ability to navigate gravity cannot be as optimal, right? And that's usually what we call subluxation, and interference to the nervous system, which basically will initiate the stress response, the sympathetic nervous system, and that kind of causes a chronic stress response, which we call central sensitization. You don't have to worry about those big words, but you can change that, right? By changing your bedtime routine. And so I'm hoping that this video, I hope I can post it. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, but I just wanted to show you that view, right? Mount Kineo, Moosehead Lake, breathtaking view. Thank you for tuning in. See you tomorrow.